Hey, I'm Sheri, and I have 5 interesting questions for my husband. What one concert in all time do you wish that you could have attended?
I didn't get a list of these questions in advance, so this is totally spontaneous at the top of my head. What one concert? I think the obvious answer would probably be like Woodstock, which is probably the most famous concert ever. That would have been pretty awesome, seeing Hendrix and all of those artists. I'm not sure if I'd want to sit through all the mud and all the other stuff. I just want to see the artists that performed that day. So I'm going to say the original Woodstock. You?
Probably something Queen.
Queen? Oh, Queen.
The
Queen Rock Montreal.
Oh,
that one?
Yes, that
or
one.
The Live Aid.
The Live Aid.
The Live Aid was only 3 or 4 songs though.
That's true.
The Live Aid would have been pretty cool.
But Live Aid would have been cool because then you could have seen everybody.
Yeah, Live Aid would have been pretty cool.
So Live Aid probably
all right.
for me. Okay, speaking of Hendrix, if you had to give up your entire record collection or your dog, Hendrix,
Come on.
which would you give up?
Is this a spontaneous question?
It totally is. You just said Hendrix and I thought about it. So answer the question.
Would I give up a dog, our 10-year-old Mexican rescue
That loves you.
who's my best buddy in
your
the whole
best
world,
friend.
or my record collection? Well, I mean, Henry's 10.
Oh.
So it's got maybe 2 years left.
And you would let him go for his 2 final years.
Fine. I would give up my records for the stupid dog. How about you? What, my records?
I would give up your records for the dog? What one record in your record collection have you never admitted to owning on camera because you're embarrassed to admit that you own it?
There's a lot I haven't told people I own because there's too many to tell people about, but that I'm embarrassed.
Or that you'd be like, oh, I don't listen to that.
I don't know if embarrassed, but I even hate to say this because this band has developed over the years a very negative reputation, but I'm going to say Nickelback.
Okay.
And I actually haven't listened to Nickelback in probably a decade. And then I watched, there's this documentary on Netflix about Nickelback. And I was like, oh yeah, I haven't heard of those guys forever. And I like the documentary. They're still like good old rural Alberta boys. They still have their, a lot of them still live in Canada and they still talk like, they have their rural Alberta accents even. And then I put on Silver Side Up, and that has Photograph on it. Look at this photograph and some other songs. And I listened to it a couple weeks ago. Then I listened to it again the next day, and again the next day. I've probably listened to it about 5 times in the past couple of weeks. Because it brought me back to that time in 2003 when you and I were moving from Winnipeg to Edmonton. It just reminded me of all that stuff. So I have memories associated with that, because that's when it came out. So I guess Nickelback. Is there an artist you are reluctant to admit that you like?
No.
No?
No. But quick question. Don't you have Roxette records?
Yeah, I'm not embarrassed about that.
Okay.
She's got the look. What is that?
She's got the look, yeah. Okay, I wasn't sure if that was
No,
one.
not embarrassed.
Okay.
Good junior high memories from Roxette.
Channel 33 RPM.
What is your die-hard, most favorite Cyndi Lauper song?
Where are these questions coming from? My favorite Cyndi Lauper song is actually one of my favorite 80s pop songs of all time. And that would be Time After Time.
Yeah.
I think it's a brilliant song.
Yeah.
Perfectly written. It's a brilliant pop song, super well written, perfectly composed. Yeah, Time After Time. And she has another balladish song that's really good.
She also sings I Drove All Night. That one's a really good one.
Good. Oh, True Colors.
Oh yeah, True Colors is another good
True
one.
Colors. Yes, I take no shame in admitting I have those albums. And a great pop song, a great written song is a great song.
It is.
Cyndi Lauper has a few in her catalog, though. I'm not sure if she wrote them all, but she performed them. They're awesome.
If you had the chance to interview anyone, anyone, like even from super famous down to like don't really know them at all, anyone on your channel, who would you interview?
So this is interesting because in my former life, I was a newspaper reporter.
Yep.
I interviewed everyone. At the time, I had interviewed every living Canadian Prime Minister of Canada. Mm-hmm. I had interviewed musicians, like including Burton Cummings. I used to have Randy Bachman's home phone number because I interviewed him so many times. I interviewed Bob Barker. I interviewed a whole bunch of people. But journalism is a former life, which I left like 13 years ago. So if I interview anyone on the channel, that's a hard one because I always say don't meet your
idol or
your idols because you'd be disappointed. And that's what I would worry about because, you know, you have this image of them. You don't want that ruined. But I think Rob Halford would be really interesting. My initial thought was Ozzy Osbourne, but I might say Rob Halford because he has such an interesting backstory. Even though heavy metal was this really macho world, he had this gay man living in there who couldn't admit to his true identity. And that must have been really tough. I know Rob Halford addressed it in his book a bit.
So in the book, did he say that it was like a choice of his not to, or a choice of like any representatives that were like on his label or anything?
I have to review the book, but I think he basically said it was just everyone knew he was gay, but he just didn't feel he was in a position to come out because he felt he would ruin his band's career because it wasn't acceptable at the time. Then when he finally came out in the 90s, it was like, no big deal, no one cared.
Right.
But I don't think by the 90s people would have cared. But I think by in the 80s, it might have been more tough. There wasn't a lot of gay people in mainstream. Mm-hmm. Like everything I learned about gay people as a kid, I learned by watching Three's Company, basically, and Police Academy, right? Where they kind of made light of it, I guess. So I think Rob Halford would be pretty fascinating. Alice Cooper would be cool, but he tends to say the same stuff over and talk in stories. Ozzy Osbourne is less coherent now. Rob Halford.
Okay.
All right, that's the 5 questions. Thank you, Sheri. All right, 33ers, let me know what you thought of today's episode in the comments below. Thank you for watching. As always, I appreciate your time. I'll be back again on Sunday. Till then, keep on spinning.